Hello! Today I'm going to tie the Woolhead Sculpin, a variation of the SNR Sculpin, a fly I designed for trophy brook trout. The difference between the two is the head. For this pattern I'm using Brown Glo-Bug yarn instead of pine squirrel strip. The hook I'm using is a Mustad SL53UBL size 1 salmon hook. The thread for this part of the fly is the Semperfli Nano Silk 12/0 black. The weight is lead wire 0.025 diameter. Start the 12/0 thread at the return eye and trim the tag. Wrap the thread along the straight portion of the hook so it's even with the point, and bring it back to the start. Next, take the lead wire, fold it in half, and secure it from underneath the hook parallel to the hook shank, and trim the excess. Flatten with pliers. Build up the thread, whip finish, move it aside, and add head cement. Next, start the Semperfli Nano Silk 12/0 white. Trim the tag and secure. Add the small gold flat braid at the start and secure it along the threaded area and whip finish. Next, split the thread, wax, and add the golden brown ice dub loosely. Double over the thread, add the dubbing twister, and spin to secure the dubbing. Brush out the dubbing, attach a hackle plier, and wrap forward, edge to edge, pulling the fibers back with your fingers, along the threaded area to the start. Secure by the thread on the bare portion of the hook, whip finish, and brush out the dubbing. Next, take a section of the natural rabbit strip and place it on top of the hook to measure. You want the length of the wing twice the length of the dubbed area of the body. Trim the hide flush with the fur, then trim the hide on a taper. Make sure to keep the fur to one side of the hide before you trim. Remove the excess fur and trim the thickness of the hide. Secure by the tip of the wing in front of the dubbing, whip finish, and trim. Next, move the gold flat braid out of the way. Pull the rabbit strip tight over the body and separate the rabbit fur even with the 12/0 thread. Secure the thread around the hide and the bare hook. whip finish, trim, and add head cement to the wrap. Move the gold braid off to the side and brush out the fur and the dubbing. Start the Semperfli Nano Silk 18-aught thread in front of the wing and trim the tag. Next, wrap the gold flat braid forward on a slight angle evenly spaced between the dubbing and the fur, Matuka style, using a bodkin to separate the fibers. Secure in front of the wing underneath the hook. Trim the excess, build up the thread, whip finish, and pick out the trap dubbing and fur and brush it out. Next, split the thread, wax, and add a section of olive dyed fox fur. Trim the excess fur along the hide and remove the long guard hairs. Spread the fur along the thread, add the dubbing twister, double over the thread, and spin to secure the fibers. Brush out the fibers and wrap edge to edge in front of the wing, going forward towards the eye. Secure by the thread, trim, build up the thread, whip finish, and brush out the fur. Next, add the brown ice dub shimmer fringe sparsely in front of the collar on top. Trim the excess and build up the thread on a taper. Next, prepare 2 Cree hackle tips. Measure so they're slightly shorter than the main wing and remove the excess fibers from the stem at the tying point. Secure the hackle by the stems on each side of the wing, left and right. Trim the excess stems and build up the thread. Next, take a section of dyed yellow and orange rabbit strip and trim a small portion with the hide attached for the throat. Secure underneath the hook tight to the collar, trim the excess and build up the thread into a taper. Next, take 2 sections of sand-colored Grizzly Marabou tips for the gills and secure on each side of the collar, left and right, and trim the excess. The gills are about half the length of the dub body. Each section has 3 segments of marabou tips. Secure and trim the excess. Build up the thread and whip finish. Take a piece of lead wire and secure it around the gills and the collar to keep them out of the way, and add head cement to the wrap. Next, add the Semperfli Nano Silk 12-aught black again. Start the thread and trim the tag. Add the Brown Glo-Bug yarn for the head. Cut out 4 segments and split each segment into 4 pieces. Tie in the first 2 pieces on each side of the head, left and right, then 2 pieces for the top and bottom on the same wrap and secure. Pull all the fibers back, secure the thread in front of the yarn, and repeat this step to the eye. Use a hair packer to compress the yarn to clear the eye. Secure, whip finish, trim, and add head cement. Take a bodkin and separate the yarn away from the rest of the fly. And use a comb to separate the fibers. Comb out the yarn so the fibers are at a right angle to the hook. Use scissors with a long blade to trim the yarn flat, top and bottom of the head. Then use curved scissors to trim the sides, left and right, into a taper. Use a lighter to touch up any high spots on the head, and use the heat from the flame to do this. And touch up any uneven spots with the scissors. Unwind the lead wire and brush out the fly. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe and hit the like button to see more of them.